evening, and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. It's actually not evening; it's afternoon for you, Mark Torien.
Afternoon.
How are you? How
Good
you doing, man?
afternoon. Good. How are you?
Thought we could
Thank you for
spread the
having me
love.
on your podcast. This is rad. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you can make it. I thought we could spread some love, some positive
Oh,
Bullet Boys news out there.
love. Listen, I love and I love the light. So absolutely.
So, musically lately, you've been doing a lot of recording, and I think it was last year. I know you've been talking about having a double album out, but you've been recording a lot of songs. I know that was changes in the process. Where are
Yes.
we at with recording? Because sometimes it's double, it's not going to be, and changes.
Well, we have all the music demoed out, and there's enough for at least two albums. But I've kind of got talked out of the whole endeavor of putting out a double album, and I wasn't really happy about it. But I decided to go with the flow. Just go
Because
with the
that's
flow.
everyone's dream, right? To have a double vinyl album with big gatefold and stuff. That's your dream as
Oh
a
yeah,
musician.
but you never know. Things could go a different
Yeah.
way. But for right now, we are speaking with five different labels, and there's a lot of love for what we did. For what we're doing. Just if I can talk about the new album real quick.
No,
The new,
as long as you want.
the
That's why
new,
we're doing this.
no, okay. The new album is called Throwback Forward, and our new single is a the Throwback Forward name of the title of the album is basically this: myself and Lonnie, who started the band in his mother's garage in in Carson, California, off of Myler Street, had decided to go back to the original sound of the Bullet Boys, that big arena rock sound, uh, full of party, full of fun, uplifting, love. There's so much darkness in music right now, and I just feel that something out of our genre of rock needs to be put out, that something that's uplifting. When I listen to rock and roll music from my genre, I want to
Hmm.
get up and dance and I want to have a good time. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of, and nothing offensive or anything discrediting about other bands from my genre that are doing what they do, but some of these bands aren't trying to sound like their band. They've lost their sound. I don't know if is that understandable? It's
It
that
is.
one.
Do you think it's? I
Yeah.
think there's a difference in it. And this is kind of fun. I'll talk about this. I respect a band's right to change too. Sometimes bands don't want to be a certain
Yes.
sound.
Right.
Sometimes a
No, I
band
get it.
wants to go with a fad. That's when I think they lose their sound. So it
Yes.
depends. It's a band per band thing because there is an evolution as a musician. Some people want to do what they always want to do, and that's cool. I mean,
Yes.
everyone should know every album that you've done. I wouldn't even know how to, be your PR person because I think it's probably one of your biggest problems is like no one knows where to put you, especially in the albums after the first two.
Yes. And
And
that's
that's, a compliment.
thank you so much. I've been told that Elefante is probably
Oh, that's a good album.
one of the greatest records since the first record. We charted with that. I worked very, very hard on it. And then Ted Templeman recorded the band as he did Van Halen. We did that record in 2 weeks. Everything was
Yeah.
live, first vocal takes, everything. It was, and it still is an amazing record that's standing the test of time right now when we're speaking in 2025. I'm still playing in front of thousands
Yeah.
of people. I mean, that I'm so blessed. I can't even express that I'm so blessed and thankful that people are coming out to see my band Bullet Boys and and we're doing, of course, songs off of Elefante, 10 Cent Billionaire,
Mhm.
from Out of the Skies. But we're also doing now with Lonnie, we're also gone back to a lot of our classic songs, THC Groove, Hang on St. Christopher,
Oh,
and I
definitely.
digress. But the stuff that we're doing, and we're bringing that to the fans because the fans have desperately asked me, can you play some of this stuff? We really want to hear it. So I love to chat with my fans, friends, and family. And
Hmm.
when we can find common ground, the band's always willing to do that. Um, I just feel that, you know, right now as the Bullet Boys, the Bullet Boys, we are working very hard on an album, but we are taking our time with it because of the fact that I hear a lot of bands that are putting stuff out that they didn't really take time with the production. They didn't take time with the interactions of the song, what the ins and outs of it, the bridges, pre-chorus, what have you.
Hmm.
Just not to get technical with songwriting, but with the Bullet Boys, our first and second and third records, we kept it very simple. We kept it direct. We kept it punk and roll. We kept it fun. We kept it tongue in cheek. But the live aspect of the band is like, you know, we are still at a extremely high level. I perform at a high level. I can still sing. I can still perform. I take care of myself. I've been
Yeah,
so
you're one of the few singers that can still sing now.
thank you. And I'm playing guitar. I've been playing guitar now and made the band a two guitar band because I've all of us always wanted that, but there were certain people in the original band that fought it like hard. Even the producer at the time, Ted Templeman, really wanted this to be two guitars because he knew how I play guitar, and I've been playing
Yeah.
guitar for many, many years. And
People that don't
um,
know, actually, let's just say, I mean, you made it to Ozzy's band.
yes,
The things that happened, people can Google it. We have to need like rehash. I'm not that
and
show.
Kiss. Don't
And
forget about Kiss.
I didn't know about Kiss. I know it.
Yeah,
Kiss.
they wanted me to play in Kiss, and I I've known Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley for many years, and I love them unconditionally. They've been amazing people that I've been very lucky to meet when I was 16 years old. When I came into this business, a gentleman by the name of Greg Jefferia, who was a keyboard player for Angel, he was my mentor and brought me into the business when I was about 16 years old. I was playing the Troubadour like on Sunday and Monday nights and coming in from Monterey Park in Montebello and with my high school band and playing this thing. And one day I came in and we were doing a show and it's just our friends and family and stuff and I met Greg and he was blown away with my talent of playing and singing. And he said, I want to bring in some people to come and see you play. When are you playing the Troubadour next? So started hanging out with him, and I was so enamored with him. He had this beautiful wine colored Dino Ferrari, and he was just Greg Jeffrey. Wow, and he was so loving, and he lived up in the Hollywood Hills, and he really taught me a lot. He was the one that got me the Ozzy Osbourne audition.
Okay.
So I digress. So going back to like playing the Troubadour, that's where I first started. It was at the Troubadour. And when I was playing in my solo band from high school, he started bringing in people to see me play. And a couple of the people that he brought in were Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley when I was really, really young. So I got to meet them way back in the day. I mean, he brought Rick Derringer in to see me, and God rest his soul, may he rest in paradise. I loved Rick. He was such a sweetheart to me when I was very, very
Yeah.
young. And this is young, young. I mean, like when you're like 16 or 17, you're still like 13 or 14. You know what I'm saying? Like your mind is like, oh, I can't believe I'm playing these places, but here are these people, And then one day we did a show, and Greg was bringing in some people, and he said, "Listen, I have some friends coming in, and you're going to be shocked when you see them because they're going to be coming in." And I was like, "Okay." So we did this one show, and we had two guys in the back bar. If anybody's familiar with the Troubadour, there's like a back bar from the stage. There's a front bar in the front of the place,
Mhm.
and then when you get into the venue, there's this bar in the back, and you can sit back there. So there wasn't that many people here, and there's these two guys going crazy, and I can't see them because the lights are in my face, and they're just hooting and hollering, going crazy. And after like 15, 20 minutes, my bass player was tuning and getting ready to do another song, probably was a cover song or something, and he leans into me, goes, uh, "Alex and David are sitting back there in the back bar," and I said, "Alex and David?" He goes, "David Roth and Alex Van Halen." So I immediately got really scared. I'm going, whoa,
Oh, yeah.
no. I mean, they're probably just laughing at us. They probably think we just are horrible. So I'm just, this thing and playing. We finally play, and they'd always want us to get out of there because we were too young to be in the venue anyway. So the manager comes up to me, and I thought he was going to start, "Mark, get the hell out of here. Come on, pack your stuff and get going. Come on, I love you, but get out." But he comes up to me and goes, "Hey, listen, Alex and David are sitting back there from Van Halen, and they want to buy you guys a drink." And I wasn't even old enough to drink, bro. I shouldn't have even been in the bar, right? So I was like, oh my gosh. So that was the first time I ever met David and Alex, and they were so kind to me and my bass player, Sam Moreno. And they invited us to sit down, and David was just enamored with my voice, and Alex was like, "Sit down next to me, man. I heard you play a little bit like my brother." And I was like, "Oh, no, 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 no. I can't believe that we're even talking." He goes, "Well, listen, shut up, man, because what I'm seeing up on stage right now reminds me of when we were young and the way my brother used to play it." He goes,
That's pretty
"Sorry."
flattering.
He goes, "Your voice, though, my gosh." He goes, "You're playing and you're singing." So we stayed there probably till I'd say about 3 or 4 in the morning, just talking, not even, just talking with them, and
Wow.
David exchanged numbers. He goes, "Listen, I want to, the reason why we're talking to you because we grew up in Pasadena and we understand that you guys grew up in Montebello. He goes, and my first girlfriend that I fell in love with was from Montebello, so I know all the good joints to eat and hang out. And I was like, oh, Jade, like he knew where J&S was, which is a stellar place here in Montebello. Everybody that grew up here, they know what J&S is. So David actually took me under his wing and would come to my house when I lived with my parents still, and he would show up in a skull and crossbones on top of a hood of a Mercedes, and he
Yeah.
picked me up with Eddie Anderson, and we go cruising around. We go to the Troubadour and hang out, and like everybody go, "How are you hanging out with David Lee Roth, man? What's going on with that?" I go, "I don't know. He just likes my band, and he loves that we're from Montebello, and so all this thing." And then they brought me into their family,
How old were you?
literally.
Like 17 at that point?
Yeah,
16,
yeah,
17? It
yes.
seems weird, doesn't it? Could you imagine like being hanging out with somebody? That seems weird now.
No,
Like
and
it's amazing.
I've never been, growing up in LA, I've been around so many huge stars, when I was really young. My
Hmm.
mother and father were from the business. My father's played first trombone in Stan Kenton's orchestra and would play part-time with Frank Sinatra.
That's pretty
Um,
cool.
so my mother was a singer, and she was um, an orchestral and gospel singer. So she did a lot of stuff with the churches and different things like that. But we were always running into different people, and I got a chance to meet people. So I always knew that never to be enamored with people that were huge stars, but just be yourself, and there'd be a connection there with just being yourself.
I agree.
So I learned very, very young that don't be. My mom was my mother would always tell me, don't be enamored with these people. Just be you, and you'll make friends with people because they'll like you and because of your talent and everything. So I think basically that's the way I got involved with people that came to see me play at the Troubadour. And I was very, very fortunate. And I give all the thanks to Greg Jeffria, because if he didn't, wasn't my mentor at the time and bringing me in, I mean, I used to sit in writing sessions with Barry Brandt, who played drums, and oh my gosh, some of the guys from Cheap Trick at the time, and they would teach me stuff and play these chords, and let me look at the way this guy plays guitar, and God, Mark had played this chord and whatever. I mean, when I was really, really young, I stayed up for 3 days
Wow.
with Ronnie Wood and learned, and he sat there and taught me the chords that the Stones would use, the open tunings, the stuff, while we were smoking large cigarettes and drinking Courvoisier. But all these, I mean, I have this. Everybody goes, "You should write a book." I go, "Man, I don't write a book." I would love to talk about it, but I'm very ingratiated and very humbled that I was able to hang out with cats that were in my life that thought that I was talented, and that they were amazed that I could do what I could do at a very young age. Of
Hmm.
course, there's no internet. That was rotary telephone time, and
That
I
was the
would just,
worst. Man, you get to someone with 8 or 9. I'm not calling you if you have a lot of nines in your number. It's too much of my fingers.
but I'm it. I was fair, and I still feel this, when I'm able to talk about it right now and where I came from. And the one thing that I loved the most was back when I came into this business. Uh, it was not a rock and roll was a very how would you say, on the strip and things. It was very and I don't want to use color or anything, but I kind of do. I'm a brown skinned man. I have three different nationalities in me. I grew up here in L.A., but there wasn't room for guys like me. They would always say really bad things to me
Yeah.
that were very awful. I mean, some guys that were in big bands at the time, even, they just didn't want some brown skinned guy coming over here. And then people got to meet me, and then and what happened was with me is that the rock and roll community out here was very much like that, but the punk rock community was not like that at all. They didn't see color, they didn't see sexual orientation. Everybody was welcome in a punk rock community here in LA. So I chose to go into the punk rock community and became friends with the guys from Fear, Lee Ving, Durf Scratch. They kind of took me under their wing. I hung out with them. And I kind of hung out in that punk rock community because I felt safe and I felt more appreciated. And I didn't, they weren't looking color or sexuality or anything. They were just looking at talent and music and being being that. So
Person. Yeah.
those kind of people, one of my favorite punk bands in the world is Fear. I wear Fear t-shirts. I love Lee Ving. He was there for me when I was very, very young. Literally came up and almost socked somebody in the face because he heard him saying some really disparaging things to me. And I was there by myself, and he pulled me under his wing and goes, "Don't listen to this motherfucker. Come with me. You want to come and hang out with me in Durf?" I was like, "Yes." So he did, I said, "Yeah." So I got to hang out with those guys, and Jesse Hughes knows all the story. I was just like, "Oh my gosh," because you're telling me you interviewed Jesse. That's another guy.
Yeah.
Jesse doesn't look at anything but the type of person you are. He's always trying to bring love and light. And that's one of the big things I love about Jesse. He was my
Just
friend.
Jesse Hughes. People that aren't. It's Jesse Hughes. He's.
We're etched the same stone, me and Jesse. Everybody goes, "Oh, what's your political affiliation?" And I go, "You know what my political affiliation is? Rock and fucking roll, baby. That's it.
Just love everybody. That's it.
Yes, I'm
Nothing
here
hard.
to, I'm here to, God willing, to bring light and love and acceptance and appreciation. I've been doing this a long time. Like I said, since I the first time I was behind a mic was when I was 6 or 7 years old in the studio recording. So I I come from that, and I've learned so much when I was very young, being signed with Motown Records, which is not too many rock and rollers were signed to Motown, except for I believe Neil Young at the time back in the day. So I learned a lot at Motown. Benny Medina and Kerry Ashby Gordy Jr. signed me to a band called Cagney and the Dirty Rats. And I worked with amazing people, Rick James, Stevie Wonder, Holland Dozier Holland, when I was very, very young. And I come from the school of not metal, but I come from the school of R&B and
I was
funk.
gonna say the R&B totally makes sense. Like especially looking at all your albums now, and that's what I meant earlier. But the first album to me, hearing the
Yeah,
breadth of all your albums, it felt like there was so much more like now in retro. Like I love the first album too. Don't get me wrong, when it came out, I
right.
had
No, I
stuff.
got you.
But I'm saying, but hearing
Yeah,
everything now, and as an adult that likes to hear different songs, it feels like you
yeah,
weren't there yet because it feels like there's so much more that you do on each album now that's so different. That's what I kind of
yeah.
meant. So
Well, you gotta evolve, but in the same breath, you gotta kind of stay the same. So the albums that I've released, some of them, I try to keep that how would you say that influence of the Bullet Boys and that. But sometimes you got to step out of the box a little bit, and then sometimes you got to go, I need to come back home. So,
some song like the
but
song Symphony, the song
this is
Symphony is
great.
like great.
But
It's
I
just
go, Lonnie, can we come back home? He's like, yes, please, let's come back home. But I would like to talk real quick about Lonnie Vincent.
please do.
I love Lonnie Vincent with all my heart. He is my best friend. We started this band together. We wrote, myself and him wrote our hit song "Smooth Up." Um, Not anybody really had a lot to do with it besides me and him. There's things that people say about different things, and it I don't know where that comes from, but it wasn't like that. Me and Lonnie suffered very much when we started this band. We were very, very poor, uh, but we managed to get enough money and sometimes have to take bottles and cans to the store, to the recycling place, so we could go buy 2 tacos for 99 cents. So we can put gas in my car, so we could go visit people to town. We're starting this new band, and we're playing them our demos and doing all this stuff. And we really, really worked hard. We didn't come from. We started it from the ground up. We paid for our own rehearsals. The band did. And
Hmm.
just kept on working and working. And the one thing that we knew, though, is that we had to write music that was beyond ourselves, that was going to last a long time. And when you're able to come in, what I learned at Motown, and I still do the same thing, is they taught me how to put a song together and take it apart. Put it together, take it apart. Put that damn thing together and take it apart. And then it changes. And it might take a year, but you have to let music simmer for a little bit, because sometimes if you're just going with that first initial thing, it's just like, then you go back and you go, oh man, if I only would have, could have, should have done this. So as I've gotten older, um, I want to make sure that we really take the time with something when we can, and to make it extremely special, and to make it palatable and um, palatable and an array of light for our fans, friends, and family. And with Lonnie in the band, we've just coming back to the band. He's 15 shows in with us and me, and we just the camaraderie with us is unbelievable. We laugh, we have a good time. I mean, we laugh about the most silliest things. He's an amazing guy. He's really changed his life around and is really on the straight and narrow. Most amazing songwriter. Uh, he still has passion. He looks great. He's in the he's in the weight room, in the workout room every day. He wants this, and we still want this, and we want to present a show to the fans where we're still in shape, where we don't look all dag tired, and we have we want to try to stay at a level that when people come to see us and go, wow, that SOB can still sing. Holy cow, that SOB still looks good. Look at these guys. What the hell's going on here? Instead of, oh, look at that guy. He can't sing anymore. He looks like hell. He's got a big fat stomach. I mean, and on and on and on. So we just try to keep it for real. We try to stay in shape. And I love Lonnie Vincent so much. And I'm so proud of him where he's come as a human being. Um, in his life, he's left a very hard life. I know we all have hard times and hard things in our life, but he's really come and done some really special things for our friendship. We're tied again like this. We speak every other day. He's got great ideas. He's writing some stuff right now that we're working on that's hopefully will make the record. Um, and I mean, I don't mean hopefully. I mean that we're working on it like it's going to make the record because the stuff he's doing is really rad, right? And I'm just like, it's a constant state of working and work in progress if you're going to try to still be in this business. And may I say that, and I think I've said this already, but not to be redundant, I am very blessed by the good Lord that I'm still able to do what I can for the fans and to be performing at a high level uh, in this day and age. And that I'm very blessed that people want to come and see the Bullet Boys play because they know that it's like a bomb going off on stage. So if you're before us or after us, be very careful because we're just going to come out there and do our thing and blow that stage up no matter who you are. And it's for the fans. I tell this to fans every night. I'm not here for me. I'm here for you. For you. They know that I'm real. I tell them my heart is here for you. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this.
I can't believe how great a guitar player. I just saw the Eddie Van Halen thing online. Like
Oh,
I've
thank
heard you,
you.
and I'd heard you were a good guitar player over time, whatever. But everyone's, whatever. But then I saw that, and I was like, holy Toledo! I mean, you're like, I was like shredding. I was like, wow.
Dude,
And then I'm
dude,
thinking, this should have
I
been a
was
two guitar
very
band all along. Like to me, then I was like, what the heck? You know?
I was very, very fortunate when I was really young, and I got to hang out with Ed and the fellas. Shout out to Mikey too. I love Mike Anthony, man. He's just the best person around. Shout out
Mhm.
to Alex Van Halen. I love you so much with all my heart. And David, they've just been amazing. But Ed, I was really lucky to be at places when they were getting ready to perform, and I'd be sitting there with Rudy and fiddling around on a guitar, and he'd come up and go, "Hey, why are you playing my guitar? If you're gonna play it, here, give it to me. At least play it right, Mark. Shit." So he would taught me a lot of the stuff, but at a very, very young age. And I would sit there and not say anything and just watch, and then they'd have these big rehearsals at a place called Zoetrope Studios, which is like a movie set, like 2 weeks. They'd come in there and perform for 2 weeks, the whole show, getting all the nooks and crannies together. And I was always invited to come in and be a part of these things that they did. And I am still, this is before Wolfie was born and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
it's, love Wolfie. But I'm just like, when I look back on it, I said, if I didn't have these guys that I got to see, I don't think there'd ever be a Bullet Boys because like me and Lonnie said, if there wasn't Van Halen, there wouldn't be a Bullet Boys.
Right.
Very, very early on when we were doing the first record, they would come in into the studio at 1-on-1 and listen to our record and tell us basically that we're passing you the torch. You guys are the guys. You guys are like what we were. You came in out and boom, out of the streets and you're doing your thing. And this record with Ted, oh my God, it sounds incredible. So we were friends,
Nice. Nice.
and when you have friends like that, you just like are so ingratiated to the fact that they even want to sit around and chat with you, you know, like Alex was always like, he's was always very hard sometimes on me when I was really young. but I really appreciated that because he didn't want me hanging out with people that were doing crazy ass drugs or, were bad people. And he would come up, hey,
Really?
why are you hanging out with this guy? Come here, come here, come here, come here. I need to talk to you. Did you say hi to my brother? I said hi to him first. Okay, come over here. He didn't even say, I don't, Mark, listen to me. So there were times
Wow,
like that I really
that's really cool.
appreciated. Yeah, no, it's just magical and rad. And I wasn't back in the time. It was just like, you don't think about those things, but then now that, that we're here and, and you're just like, wow, I mean, it was just so amazing. So Lonnie got a lot. Lonnie was always up at Ed's house at the beach and playing volleyball when we were signed and hanging out with Ed. And, you know, we were always doing stuff like that. So he was always really sweet and always invited us to come and do things. And then uh, Ed and Val would come. And when Val was shooting or something, TV or motion picture or what have you, he would come and knock on the bus door and come in and hang out with us when we were on tour. And he was just always really,
Cool.
really amazingly supportive. So when I tell people we lost the greatest of all time. He was the greatest of all time,
Hmm.
guitarist of all time. And the thing that was great about him is that he was from the hood. He was from Pasadena. He
Yeah,
was from. They were from some place that I know that I frequented. You
a
know,
small little house.
there was a place a long time ago, a place called Doctor Music. And for those that are going to listen to this and be, oh my God, Mark's talking about Dr. Music. Dr. Music with this little tiny, shitty little music store that everybody, all these great musicians when I was really young, would go there and get their stuff fixed up and strings and what have you. And guys like they were in bands called Stormer or Terry Kilgore and Reddy Kilowatt. Those were local guys that were just like, older guys. And it's like, wow, these guys are so rad. I don't even want to go up and talk to these guys because they look like they bite my head off. So I got a chance to see some of these cats at that place, Dr. Music, and I had to go drive out there. So sometimes I would just sit out there and just wait for people to walk in so I could see somebody that was like rad, and be like, oh wow, I'm just this far from greatness and seeing these people and stuff. So I was really, really fortunate that I grew up here in Montebello and I was able to
Mhm.
be able to experience a lot of these great musicians that were playing way before I even had, any inkling of putting a high school band together. I was just doing my thing, in the backyard party scene, man, doing my thing. But that was one thing that
That's
I do
amazing.
remember about those Dr. Music days, about going up there and going like, wow, this is, it's amazing. But so I digress. But
You do
I
have a
just,
book in you. You do have a positive book, though. You do have a book in you stories. You got some positive stories. Be
oh
nice.
yeah, no, absolutely. I just, and I keep on going back to it. I see myself as being very, very not lucky, but very, very fortunate because of the people that were around me in my musical life. Um, that always told me, don't come up with anything that's not going to be first best. Don't be second best. Work hard. Be diligent. Don't listen to people. If you have something in your head and a vision, do your vision. Don't do anybody else's vision, you know? So that's basically what pushed me. And the fact that we just wanted to, and I wanted to be at a special level and for people to recognize me and the band as being amazing and hardworking musicians. I always say um, I'm a hard hat and lunch pail musician. You put the hard hat on, get the
Working
lunch
class,
pail.
working
Yes,
class hero.
yes,
That
absolutely. And those are the bands that I admire the most. That started from nothing and worked diligently. It wasn't handed to them. And that's why I love punk rock music so much because nothing was ever handed to punk rock musicians. They did it because they loved it. They did it for no money. They did it for the fans. And, those kind of traits still sit in me. And I think that I'm hoping that's very special and especially in these times when people,
I think it is.
human beings need uplifting music, especially from my genre of music. Um, I just think it's how would you say what would be the word for it? It's a must thing that we need to do to keep the music going. Um, a couple years back, I went into 606, which is David Grohl's, the Foo Fighters recording
Yeah.
studio. And David invited me to come in to cut from Out of the Skies there. And when I was very had a great close friendship with Taylor Hawkins. May he rest in paradise. I miss him so bad because he was a stalwart Bullet Boys fan, just all about it. Knew all our songs, knew how to play him. Would come up to me and sing every time I saw him and shit. You know, he was just rad, right? And so when I got in there and we were recording from Out of the Skies, David, I mean, his energy, like he came in. I was sitting in the lobby, and it was kind of late at night, and the door comes swaying open, bam! It's like a movie, and from the parking lot, and it's just me and the production crew and my producers, and he comes in, and he looks at me, and he goes, "I fucking know you," and I got kind of scared, you know. It's like, oh shit, is he not happy with me? He goes, and I go, and I'm sitting down. I go, I think I know you too. And he goes, come over here. And he goes, now we know each other. And he hugged me. And dude, I started weeping, crying. I mean, and he cried. And he goes, I go, I don't know. I'm so sorry. He goes, no, I'm doing the same things. He goes, I've been wanting to meet you for so long. He goes, you know, you were here before I was. And I'll never forget that he said that because he was so down to earth and so helpful and loving and kind, you know. And I was
Was.
scared to death on that album, you know. It's like, and he goes, you know why you're in here? He goes, first of all, I love you. First of all, Taylor loves you. He's like, loves you. He goes, and you know everybody. Pat knows you. Everybody knows you. He goes, but I've never met you. He goes, I'll tell you what. You know that song, Switchblade Butterfly? I go,
Yes,
yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And he goes, so I'm sitting with my wife in the living room and I'm hearing the song. And I go, who's that? And she goes, come here, sit down, listen to the song. So he says, I listened to the song, and Mark, it brought this feeling over me that was just like, this song was so beautiful. And I said, if this guy can write like this, and he goes, Mark, we have to save rock and roll music. He goes, that's what we're here to do. We're here to pass it on to the next generation, rock music. He goes, and if we don't do that, it's going to die a horrible death. And I was like, wow. So he proceeds to show me around the studios and everything else, and we're talking about this stuff, and I'm getting ready to lay down Switchblade Butterfly. And he goes, can you do me a favor? I said, anything, bro. And he goes, hands me the acoustic guitar. He goes, this is the acoustic guitar record with the Foos. He goes, can you play this Switchblade and use my guitar? And I said, yes. So I'm in there, scared to death, laying down the guitar, right? And I'm playing out of the guitar that he uses for everything. So when a musician at that caliber comes to me and is so gracious and so sweet and kind with his time, time is a very important thing, bro. When someone gives you your time, you can't get that
Yeah.
time back. So he really inspired me to do something that's way beyond myself. Um, and Taylor was like that all the time too. We would chat all the time, and he said, "What's the new one? What's the new riff?" You know, it's like so. I really enjoyed and got to meet him, and the feeling that he gave me was like, you know what, you can do anything, don't listen to anybody, don't spread, don't don't get clickbaited into things, just continue to do what you do and write music, everything else is inconsequential, that's what you're here to do. So I was very fortunate with guys that came around still to this day that I still, you know, zipper my lip and listen to what they have to say. And sometimes for a musician, it's kind of hard to listen, you know, but I try to do that as much as I can now more than ever.
This is really good stories. Thanks for sharing those things. Those are really great.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I want to add, that I think that also you are not a very loud person and saying things and getting whatever. And you being quiet is a
yes.
very respectful thing to not go out into that world of clickbait. Just listen to the music
Well,
and
you
question
know what?
everything.
I
You
think
should
we were
move
talking a
forward.
little bit
Be happy.
off camera, and not to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but
That's fine.
this is what I learned, bro. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, they're still talking about you.
It is.
So it's still great press. So
It's a good press.
you
Well, I
know,
know it's about focusing
people
on the
that know
positive
me,
thing.
wait, and I learned this from many, many years ago. I think a very wise man told me this. A man that is braying like a donkey is usually the guilty one. A man that is quiet as a mouse is usually the person that's honest. So I try to stay as quiet as a mouse.
That's awesome. That's perfect. I want to thank you for being on the show
Oh, dude,
and sharing this.
thank you. I haven't done any of these in forever,
I
and
know this
I
is
just
great.
loved your
Thank you.
personality, and you were so kind and to invite me on here, and thank you so much. It's just you're an amazing cat, and I send all my love to you. You're amazing. Thank you.
Very cool. Thank you as well. Appreciate it. Last
Okay.
minute stuff to share with people. What's going on?
Yeah, yes, I'd love to. Thank you for asking. We have a an amazing single that's coming out. That's a co-op single. Brian Pereira over at Cleopatra Records asked me to come in and do a cover of an amazing Doobie Brothers song called "Taking It to the Streets," which I love, and I've always loved the Doobie Brothers, and Michael
Yeah.
McDonald is one of the amazing rock and R&B singers when I was very very young, and still is. So I got the opportunity to do it. It came out really well, and it was a collab. So it's myself and Fred Aiken, and it's Bob Daisley who's playing bass on it from Blizzard of Oz, and the guitarist from Uriah Heep, um, Mick Vox, and it sounds incredible. So I'm just like,
Really.
holy cow, we got. Are you kidding me? We got Bob Daisley playing and Fox. I'm in. This is they're
Yeah.
Hall of Famer guys, right? So it turned out really really well. We just shot the video for it, and it's something that's a labor of love that Brian asked me to come and be involved in. And I love Brian. So shout out to Brian and everybody at Cleopatra. I love you guys so hard. Um, and we just got finished. We're editing the video right now, and I'm looking at the video and going, man, this is so rad. And we put out a little clip of it, like an 8-second clip. It's like at over 100,000 views right now on social media, and
Wow.
I'm just like, what? So well, then people are calling me, dude, do you know this? Wait a minute, hold on, let me go see. It's like, and I'm just like, that's a blessing. When someone's like, when the fans are like, wow, and what people are saying about my vocals, and it's just this little quick clip and everything. So I get to do my whole really sing from my heart in that R&B fashion that I have, and it sounds amazing, and I'm really excited for it. So that's going to be dropping here on June the 26th. So everybody out there, thank you so much for being so
Check it
loving
out.
to this little clip that we put out, and I love you guys so hard. Thank you for taking it up to that. Just like wow. So I think people are fans of ours are really excited that we're doing this little collab thing, and hopefully we'll be able to do this with other artists in the future. Trying to open up another vehicle to do other things instead of just with the bands of our genre or whatever. And I'd love to do that even more.
That
But yeah, really excited about that coming out. So June the 26th it drops, and really wishing that and hoping that everybody really really cranks this thing up and starts dancing in their living rooms or wherever they're at.
so that's it. Everybody check that out. I want people to go to the BulletBoys site for all your tour information and album stuff when it's ready. Right?
Well, here's the thing: the album that's not going to be on the album. It's just a
No, no, I know
single.
I'm saying, but I want people to always go to the BulletBoys site for information, as I'm saying, to
Yes,
should be up to date.
we're on all facets of social media. You can catch me on IG a lot. I'm on there a lot, and I've been on all forms of. I'm constantly jumping here and there and everywhere. But yeah, I'm really really excited about that. It's was really amazing to that the four of us got together and we did this club because those cats are a little bit older, Hall of Fame guys. Of course, me
Hmm.
and Fred are younger, but to have somebody like Bob Daisley was one of my favorite bass players of all time, just a savant, badass, amazing. And the bass lines he's playing on this tune are just like, oh my gosh. Sometimes I'm listening to Fred. He goes, "Did you just hear what he's doing right there?" It's like, I know, man, this is sick, so rad and sick. Um, but yes, no, so that's going to come out. And so, real quick, thank you for everybody. Thank you for having me on. But I'd like to throw a shout out to some new friends of mine who just released. I listen to a lot of diverse music, but it's an album that I'm obsessed with that just came out, and it's the new Turnstile album, Never Enough. I literally shed tears when I was hearing this record because of the production and the fluidity and the amazing songs that this band has wrote and the movie that they put out and the fans, how they're giving to the fans. And, you know, I needed to hear a record like that for so long because it's really inspired me. Just the music that they wrote, how they're bringing stuff from the 80s and 90s and psychedelica and atmospheric type of changes and stuff. It's just this beautiful piece, this beautiful album. And they're from Baltimore, of course, but if you are not familiar with Turnstile, please go listen to the new album. It will rock your mind. It's just, I just cranked the whole album yesterday. I was sitting here having coffee and I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. So I'm hoping that people will really step up and really, you can tell that they put the time into this album. And then I saw an interview with the lead singer, and he said exactly that. We put things together, we took it apart, we put it together for almost a year. And then sometimes we ended up going back to the original thing a bit. And other times we're like, oh, but I like what we just did like a while ago. So I really respect bands that do that, that really take the time and to ingratiate their talent and what they're going to be putting out there in the world. Now, a lot of bands from my genre, I haven't seen that at all, and it really, and it's not, I'm not trying to say something bad. I'm just saying like I wish that we would take more time and really do something special for the fans from that period. We got a lot of shows coming up. I'm going to change gears real quick because I know we're probably coming to the end. We're going to be playing Sturgis this year. We're doing a bunch of shows that are coming up. But I do want to send out a shout out to a guy that I think in my genre that is still amazing, that is still has his craft, that still goes out there and gives 1,000%, that still has his voice, that still tries to keep rock alive and well, and that's Sebastian Bach. Love him with my heart. We're going to be playing a couple shows with him at Sturgis this year, and he, by all means, I feel like I'm with him. I can still sing. I can still sing like I never lost my voice, and I can still do the stuff from the first and all whatever. But he's just an amazing singer, and he still goes out
Mhm.
there and just destroys it. So all the love to Sebastian Bach. I'm so blown away, and he's just so rad, and he's still up there doing it and giving 100% on his shows, up there sweating, singing his ass off. So I just I people were asking me about that since yesterday. We had this conversation, so I just
Oh
wanted to
yeah.
throw out, I wanted to throw him a shout out of love, and shout out to uh, the guys out in LA Guns out there killing it, just amazing, out there doing their thing, killing it, sounding great. Um, there's just cats that I really admire. Shout out, of course, to Father Badass, who's out in Europe right now. I watched him a little bit. I love you with all my heart. I love you so rad. You're so rad, and I love you so hard. But all the cats that are out there really trying to do something and still keeping, because the rock and roll music is a tough one right now, man. The rock genre is a hard genre right now. It's not, it's not in the limelight. It's not, the pop thing's really big right now and stuff. But I really admire people that are still doing that at such a high level. Axl Rose is out there still killing it. Still, he looks amazing. Still out there killing it in front of thousands of people. But I admire the people, the bands from my genre that are coming out there that are still killing it and still kicking ass and taking all kinds of names, man. So we got to keep on doing this so we can leave it to the younger folk in the music business and to all the young rock and roll bands out there and singers. Keep on doing what you're doing, man. Don't listen to anybody. Keep a punk rock heart. Be punk and roll. Don't listen to no one. Go with your vision. Keep on doing what you're doing, and you will have success. The minute you start listening to that those whisperings and people telling you things, that's when you're so don't listen to that. Keep on doing. Last shout out is to my friend Brett Michaels. I love you so hard. You are such a badass. Just your energy, the love that you're spreading. Love you. And God bless you. I love you guys. Thanks, Brett, for still getting out there and kicking ass. You're awesome. Going back to originally I said, I love you, Turnstile. It's Turnstile Summer 2025. I love you. I don't know you guys at all, but I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Turnstile.
Maybe now I have to check them out. I have to track them down now.
Oh, yeah, just
You
go.
never know.
Their album's called Never Enough. It's amazing. They are just, man. I haven't seen a band like that in such a long time. They have such a punk rock heart, and it stayed very true to hardcore. And but the singer's amazing. Just bringing, you can just feel the love coming from them. And everybody from their audiences are sick, man. Stage diving,
Yeah.
crowd surfing. I haven't seen that shit since way back in the day in the '90s. So
Like
it's
stage
really,
diving.
oh yeah, oh, and crowd
I saw
surfing.
crowd surfing the other night. I saw crowd surfing at Core the other night. We were talking. I saw.
I saw in the at their one of their shows. I think it's probably in their movie, like a 7-year-old kid who jumped on the stage, and everybody's jumping on the stage while they're performing and just flying off the stage. And then I saw an older woman, like a grandma, and the place went nuts, and she stage dived, and then she's crowd surfing and going, "Oh my God, I love this band! Fucking, that's the real, right?" And that goes on a lot of our shows, man. People just lose their mind, and because that's what we want them to forget everything that they're dealing on a negative basis, and just for maybe that hour and a half that we play, that we can take somebody to another place where they just are happy and they're reminiscing and they're enjoying something, and then that will take them out of whatever funk or somebody was in. And I think that's what we're all here to do, man. It's just to shed light and love, man. The last thing I want to say is I love all my fans unconditionally, friends and family, and thank you for being here. And thank you for just all these years of just being here with this bands have been together for 30 plus years, and that you guys are still willing to listen to this band called the Little Old Bullet Boys. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.